Alright, man. It's crazy. I got the Avengers 1 on the TV right now, best comic book movie ever, you know what I'm saying, watching that joint. But yo, same intro as always, man. None of these joints on here is scripted, you know what I'm saying? These are just conversations I have with my homies and stuff like that, I just get on here, talk about it, you know what I'm saying, kinda in the same fashion, pretty free form, or it's just shit that just comes up, shit that I think about, concepts, getting ideas and stuff like that on. This is kind of similar to the Invincible joint, man, of I just watched or read something. I got on here to talk about it, kind of review style ish, but I don't even want to say call it a review because maybe I'll give it a rating. I don't know. But also every video I got something cool to show that pertains to the video. Let me get this joint. Boom. Wolverine with the shit. He got some. Bro, it stays on my I put a picture up of where it stays at after I showed it off. But yeah, this shit is cold, man. This shit is cold. I need this comic. I have Marvel Unlimited, which is where I read stuff from, so I have this joint saved. I haven't gotten to it yet. But yeah, man, yeah, I'll put the picture up right now where it stays at among my setup. But yeah, man, I just read my first comic book, bro. From start to from front to back. Of Wolverine, 1982, the Frank Miller, Chris Claremont joint. Now, with all the comic book talk I have on here about characters I want to see adapted, with, best comic book movie, comic accurate, this, that, and third, you probably like, damn, nigga, talking all this shit, you ain't never read a comic book all the way through? Never read a comic book series all the way through. Alright, I need to make sure I title that and not my first comic book. So, always wanted comics as a kid. The issue was, I never knew where a series kind of like started and began, and it wasn't really comic shops near my house that I knew about. Up in the mall, it's a joint called Books A Million, right? And they got a lot of shit in there, a lot of books, but like they also got puzzles, Funko Pops, action figures. I think that's what made me walk in there the first time when I was a kid, was the action figures. And this is the first comic book I got, and right here, this is Suicide Squad, right? And this is around the time, I believe, that does it have the year in here? I remember when I got it, but I don't know if it was made around that same time. But this was around the time when the first Suicide Squad movie came out. And, I now know that movie's not well received and not really good. I haven't rewatched it since I was in middle school. But I remember liking it because, one, this is around the time I was still, I'd say I like Marvel more than DC, but I still like DC a lot. I think I talked about this in the past videos, but some of the first YouTubers I came across, they were just more DC people. They were more like, I watched the K-Wings a lot, so they were telling me all the Batman lore, and then they, DC just had the video games, like Lego Marvel Superheroes is in my top 3 games. I love that game, or top 5 games. I love that game. And so in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is my number 1. But the Batman Arkham series had it on lock. The Lego Batman games were just as good as, any other Lego game. What else? Injustice was a huge phenomenon beyond just the game, so it was just, in the MCU at this point, I'm in 6th grade, so 2016 is definitely up there, but my only real memories was as far as watching the theater up to this point were really the 2 Avengers movies, honestly. Everything else I kind of saw on TV in passing. The main one I had recollection of was the Captain America, the first Avenger movie. I definitely remember watching that with my dad when somewhere at home when Red Skull took his mask off and shit. But all I have to say is this is my first comic, right, around this time. And yeah, the movie, I remember I thinking El Diablo was cool, Enchantress was cool, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, middle school kid, well, damn, she fine, you know what I'm saying? And then, even then, I knew that Joker was ass, because also I had watched a lot of old Batman shit. I watched the Adam West joint at that point. My favorite Joker is still Jack Nicholson's. That's a video in itself. So I knew that Joker was terrible, but Deadshot was cool and shit. But you see up here, it says Volume 5. So I didn't know where comics started and ended, right? So I was just picking up random shit. I have a couple random joints my cousin gave me. So I never got to actually read a series through. When I got to high school, it's that COVID time and shit. Other stuff was happening, so I wasn't really leaving the house at that time. So I didn't have no bread to go get a comic book. And niggas wasn't like just going out the house, going gallivanting to comic shops and shit around that quarantine time. So in my high school days, Comics Explained, Rob, he carried me through that online school shit. So I was going through his full explained videos. I can tell you what happened in Batman Quarter Hour. I can tell you what happened in X-Men vs. Avengers versus the Inhumans when the Progenitor showed up. I can tell you all about Thanos' quest and the Infinity Gauntlet. I can tell you about all these comics. The Gore the God Butcher story with that Thor story and shit like that. Secret Wars 84 and Doom Wars, Secret Wars 2015, all this other shit. Civil War. I can tell you what happened to these because I watched him, Variant Comics, Comic Story, was it Blur Without Fear or whoever it was. I watched them do the play-by-play and looked at the comic panels and shit. But for myself to sit down and read a full series, I have not. I did start the Phoenix Saga a while ago, but Uncanny X-Men is like 200-something issues. So, and the Phoenix Saga starts at 98, I believe. So I started from there, and I'm at issue 108 right now. I'm also in the middle of reading the Immortal Iron Fist. I'm at issue 13 out of, I think that's 24. I started a Taskmaster series last night. That's only a quick little 4 issues. I'm on issue 3. And I'm on issue 9, I want to say, of Ultimate Wolverine. So those are the comics I'm reading for myself. I have Marvel Unlimited. My cousin gave it to me. So I don't have the pleasure of reading DC comics, which is fine because I'm more of a Marvel guy anyway, by a long shot. But yeah, man. But all that to say, man, that's why this is my first time reading a comic front to back. What made me do it, I was watching the Escape Pod podcast, and they had Coy, I forgot his last name on there, and I might put a little clip of it up here. You'll see it if I do. If I don't, you won't see it. But yeah, that right there, where he was talking about, they asked him what he would want to see from the X-Men in the MCU. He's like, he doesn't want Wolverine on the team when they bring the X-Men in. He wants this solo Wolverine series where each season is a decade of his life. And I was like, oh, cook. And he was like, where you start? Japan. And I was like, cook.
I want to say, those are the 2 I want in it. I don't want Wolverine.
Correct, we agree.
I would do a Wolverine series that takes place 1 season per decade, and then in the 4th or 5th season he catches up to our timeline, and then he's in a movie. And that
Can we put Coy in charge of everything, please?
The amount, because that way you have the actor be ageless. That way, by the time you get in, we're emotionally connected to the new Wolverine.
Coy.
And that, I have emailed so many, like, let me in. Let me
Why?
in.
Okay, so those are 2.
Yeah.
What else?
Let me do things for you.
Please.
I'll make art.
We are the fans. We are your target audience. We want this too.
Coy.
I'm not exclusive at DC House of Ideas. I'm available for all sorts of writers' rooms. Yeah. I've got a whole pitch, dude. I've got certain decades ideas.
We'll talk more about that on the Patreon. He'll give us the whole pitch.
You open. What do you open with?
You open with Japan, feudal Japan,
Coy.
and you do the Frank Miller. We'll talk about the Patreon. The 4-issue Frank Miller run is your first season, and then we'll talk about the Patreon run.
Oh my god!
And then long game, big twist, 3rd act, tune in the Patreon. You do a 70s Days of Future Past that uses clips from the show that come out prior, and you loop it all in. So yeah, that's right. Time travel. Use it right. You go right ahead. Anyway,
I'm getting emotional.
Man, let this nigga cook. And then he showed me, he was like, I want that whole little Frank Miller run. I was like, Frank Miller run? I haven't read his Daredevil, but I know Frank Miller's like legendary, and he has some of the best comic runs, like, with certain characters. I was like, he did Wolverine. I need that. So I searched it up. I was like, yo, Frank Miller Wolverine run. And I was like, oh shit. I saw the comic, the cover right here. I'm putting on the screen, the cover. I was like, oh, that's what this is from? Oh shit. So I was like, oh, how much is this? 4 issues? I'm like, nigga, I can breeze through this. That ain't no problem. I can breeze through this shit like nothing. Man, it was so worth it, bro. It was so incredibly worth it. So that's what made me want to read it. Because initially, I agree with him 100%, and now I agree with him even more now seeing the story. I wanted to see Wolverine's time in Japan because in X-Men the Animated Series, the episode where he's out in Japan, I don't remember why or how he ended up out there, but it's when he fights Silver Samurai and they show a different side of Wolverine from, the brute, angry guy of, him being like so honorable and used to Japanese customs and how they accept them and his understanding of honor and all these other things. I was like, it's a different side of Wolverine.
I know. Temple building ain't my job. We all fight in our own way.
Arigato.
Rogan-san. No need, kid.
Arigato, Logan-san. For everything.
No, Kisara. Thank you.
And that's a point of his life I want to see a lot. Because I've always heard about, I know he was in love, because when they talk about him in relation to Gene and his relationships, people have brought up that he was in love with a woman in Japan, and I knew about that, but I didn't know what story it was from when it came up, and shit like that, because Wolverine's interesting, because he was originally made to fight the Hulk, then they put him in the X-Men series, and as I'm reading it right now, it's like, you know, with this Uncanny X-Men, I'm in like 1978, I want to say, it's somewhere in the late 70s, and it's not a lot of depth to his characters so far until they fleshed him out, from the Weapon X thing to the lost memories to the actual shit. So I don't know where in the timeline I am of them fleshing out Wolverine's character, but this story is damn good. Let me just get to that now. You know, long ass intro as always. Man, it's a great story. Essentially, what happens is I'm terrible with names, by the way, y'all. I'm terrible with names, so don't hold me to it, bro. But he ends up. First of all, the first couple panels. This is what I like about it, bro. Fuck, I'm trying to look. This is why I say it's not scripted, bro. I'm thinking about timestamps and how I want to structure this. Fuck it. Let me just go into like just some things I like about it, man. I'll go over the story and then that will translate.
Just get on with it!
Yes. Yo, he starts off with him tracking, like, these people got killed or something like that, right? And he's tracking what killed him, and it was a bear. And he goes down into the bear's cave, kills the bear, and then sees that, oh, it was poisoned with something that made it go berserk. And then this man sniffs the poison dart or arrow, whatever it was, gets the scent, and then tracks that scent to find the shooter and where he was at. That is crazy. And that's just something where it's like, I like the half man, half animal Wolverine. Like, I love that. And yo, Hugh Jackman is a legend. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is like, we couldn't ask for much better, honestly. Like, in a realistic sense, in the setting he was put in and everything, he did phenomenal. But that shit right there, my nigga, is like, it's just, I want a game like that, man. Like, just tracking motherfuckers and shit. Because it's just something about, I don't know, like, him is like this survivor and shit like that. I don't know how to put it, bro. But it's just so crazy of like, you can't get away from this nigga. You can't get away from this nigga, man, if you try to. So that was just so dope, bro. Of like, that's something that's underutilized with Wolverine's character. Is like, okay, it's like usually we get the healing factor and the and the adamantium claws and him just being a brute and just walking through motherfuckers and shit, and just him being so violent. Like, usually they only equate his animalistic nature to violence when it comes to Wolverine, for the most part. Is just the berserker rage part of it, and he only goes berserker like once in this comic, honestly, which is amazing, you know, with the story they're trying to tell. But yeah, they only go into his animalistic side when it comes to like the berserker rage type of shit. And this is like showing him tracking and hunting, and then, you know, getting over, and then essentially tracking the dude down at the bar, and then, you know, doing what he had to do to him. So yeah, but he finds his way to Japan and finds out from one of his close friends that the woman he loved, right? Her name is Makiro. I'm just going to, I don't know what to call her, man, but you know, her name starts with M. I don't want to butcher. Starts with M. I don't want to butcher her name, bro. I don't remember exactly how it was spelled, but I have an idea in my head. So yeah, he wanted to return to her. Essentially, her father was like a Yakuza boss. He was presumed dead. Yakuza is not even the right word necessarily, because like he is a crime boss. I don't know what Yakuza exactly means. You know, of course, like whenever we think of crime in Japanese, in a Japanese setting, we usually think Yakuza. At least I do when it comes to you know, just because of different media we've had. So I don't know if Yakuza is the right word, but just he's a Japanese crime boss essentially, and he returned back. I don't even know if we got an explanation of where he was, if he got resurrected or what, but he came back and he had to pay off debts, and the way he paid it off was by offering up his daughter for marriage, and the daughter is the woman that Wolverine was in love with before. So Wolverine comes up to her, said, and she's like, of course I still love you, but she's honor bound to what's happening. And the man she's married to is abusing her, smacking her around and shit. And it's crazy. I'm gonna put it up on the screen here. It's a crazy thing where Wolverine's like, he's a terrible man, he beats you in this, that, and third. And she's like, it's his right. I was like, ooh, man, they went there. It's 80s, baby. This is some old school media right here, nigga. You can't write that now. You can't write that now. Obviously, I don't agree with that. It's not his right. But it's just the fact that, okay, she's that honor bound and like that helplessness, and that's just like, ooh, man. It's the weight to it. It's the weight to it, man. It's the weight to it that just does it. So yeah, essentially, so that happens. Wolverine leaves. He gets poisoned by the father. He challenges him, Wolverine, to combat. And like while Wolverine's like senses are dulled, and he beats Wolverine. He starts beating on Wolverine, and Wolverine kind of loses it. Doesn't necessarily go berserker mode, but he just loses his temper. He's like, the hell with this. Pulls out the claws and still loses. And the woman just looks at him with disgust of like, just dishonoring her to the highest extent, not only by getting involved, but then by dishonoring the combat by dropping the sword and then using the tools of his trade. So that happened. He kind of got cast out onto the street just randomly somewhere, and it's one of the I don't know how, because whenever I take a screenshot in comics, some of these are like vertical and shit like that, and like just different angles. Hopefully I can get it on the screen right. But man, Wolverine goes on this crazy, I don't know if monologue is the right word because it's short, but something, just being lost in his soul, and to this death is a mercy. Death to be a mercy compared to how he feels right now, and just the shot of it is just so crazy, man. It's crazy. So yeah, that happens. He meets, I believe the woman's name is Yukiro. She pulls up on him. She has a immediate infatuation with Wolverine. Him and her start fighting off the Hand. The Hand, which is crazy. I was like, oh, the Hand is in this, because I know the Hand from Daredevil show, which I believe is who trained Stick before Stick trained Daredevil, and that's who he had to fight in one of those seasons. It's been a long time since I watched Daredevil, but I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense that they would be here. So I like this. Okay. So they're fighting off the Hand together, essentially, and then she tries to seduce Wolverine and everything. He's still, emotionally reeling from what happened before, so he decides to leave her alone. She's kind of hurt by it, but she still wants to pursue him. We find out later that the crime boss, he employed her, Yukiro. She's one of his assassins, so she was sent there to kill Wolverine. So I was like, oh man, he's gonna get betrayed again. Like, this is going to play into his trust issues, But for now, we don't know if she's genuine or if she is just playing Wolverine or what's going on. So yeah, that happens from there. And then this thing, bro, I don't have the best linear memory, so it's certain things that are going to stick out to me. Certain things I'm gonna skip over. But yeah, just a few things kind of happen in between there, between them fighting the Hand and shit like that. They went and murdered. They killed somebody. I don't remember who it was and why they killed him. They killed another crime boss, but it wasn't the father. It was somebody else. And I don't remember why. I think it was a rival. So look, so Yukiro's, what's it called? She's employed by the father that, she's employed by the father of the woman that Wolverine loves, the crime boss dude. I believe she was also instructed to take out other crime bosses, and she kind of like goaded Wolverine into helping her do it. I think that's why they did that shit, if I'm not mistaken. So that happened. Then Wolverine's old friend, the guy who he met in Japan the first time, he told Wolverine, he was like, yo, it's this, all these other crime bosses that gotten out of hand. They plan to take over our entire government and shit like that. Wolverine's like, bro, not my problem. He goes off with Yukiro and shit, and just trying to, just enjoy his time, I guess, and kind of just drown his sorrows, so to speak. So yeah, so essentially that happens. We kind of skip up to a point where the Hand got tired of waiting on Yukiro to kill Wolverine, so they kind of pulled up on her and they was like, yo, you got one more chance. Like, because they kind of no, he wasn't poisoned, he was drunk and knocked out. So they were like, yo, he's knocked out right now, here's a sword, kill him now. And she was like, yeah, I need my daggers because he heals too fast, it's not gonna happen. They give her her daggers, and she kills all of the members of the Hand. So right there, I'm told, oh, okay, she actually does side Wolverine. She doesn't want this to happen. She wakes up Wolverine, you know, and everything. Wolverine says the woman he was in love with before, he says her name. So then Yukio gets mad. She kicked him in the face, which was hilarious. And then she kind of stormed off. The Hand starts hunting her again. She flees back to, I think, is either Wolverine's apartment or her apartment. And she got spooked by the guy that Wolverine's old-time friend. She got spooked by him and killed him. And then Wolverine tracks his way up there and figures out what's going on. Man, he goes berserk. He was like, if you're gonna kill me, you better do it now, because you're not gonna have a chance later. So yeah, so she essentially, she flees for her life. And then Wolverine, he's like, well, I got nothing left. he was like, yo, I have nothing left. He was like, the woman I was in love with before, I think this is somewhere later down the line in the comic, but he goes on this like little mini tangent. He's like, yo, the woman that I was in love with before, she made me want to be better, you know, and I just, you know, and he was like, he just pursued her too hard and he screwed that up. And he was like, Yukio, she accepts me for who I am, but I was still too hung up on the last woman, and then, you know, I fucked up here. So he's like, yo, no matter what I try to do to get peace, it just never works for me, you know. So he goes and he's like, yo, I have one more thing to do. And he was like, yo, I'm just gonna track down the crime boss dude, the father. I'm gonna track him down, challenge him to combat for my honor, and kill him. That's all he had left. Now, meanwhile, the daughter, the woman he was in love with before, she was like having a breakdown, praying to the gods. She was like, she had a dilemma because she was like, her father, because of the things that he was doing in between panels, I'm skipping around, right? The things he was doing, she was like, he dishonors everything we stand for. Because the reason she even stayed and went through with the deal of the marriage and everything, regardless of the beatings and everything, it was like she was just standing up for the honor of their family. Like, I'm honor bound to do this. I stick by our code regardless of how I feel about it. But she's like, her father was disgracing everything that they stand for, you know, and then the husband was a coward and everything. So she was like, but if I were to kill my father or go against him, then I'm just honoring my place. But, you know, is it, you know, is like, does a two wrongs make a right situation? Where is it a necessary evil? Whereas, like, you know, is it her place to step up to him? You know, it's like, is one dishonoring worse than the other, right? So, you know, eventually Wolverine pulls up. We just get these crazy shots, man. These crazy things, and him just being stealthy. That's another thing, bro. I want a Wolverine game. I was in the middle of Wolverine Origins. I didn't finish it. I don't remember where I got stuck at. Marvel Rivals took over a lot of shit for me. But, like, if you want to talk about Batman Arkham, man, fuck that. Give me Wolverine stealth. Because that shit's different, bro. Where he can just hear motherfuckers, smell where they're going and all this other shit. You tracking people down. And it's terrifying. Like, I'm gonna put some joints up here on the screen, bro. Of, like, look at him in these shadows. Just, like, hunting people. That's terrifying. That's terrifying, dog. Like, what the fuck? That is so fucking terrifying. Like, bro, motherfuckers be fucking going by my house in these loud ass cars. But yeah, bro, like, him just being, he's a pure hunter, dog. Like, he's actually a hunter. That shit is scary. See, he's going around doing all this other shit, just taking motherfuckers out, killing people. He took some dude's crossbows, and he was just like, then he was killing people from a distance with weapons. Man, he was just going crazy, bro. So eventually, but we kind of cut, and we see that Yukio's doing the same thing. She's going to try to kill the crime boss, and she gets caught. And basically, crime boss, he was like, so what you could have just left. Why'd you come back? And Yukio, this is when we see how much she actually cares for Wolverine. She was like, well, no, the crime boss kind of called her out on it. He was like, so you murdered Wolverine's best friend, so you feel like coming here and murdering me would atone for the sins, you know, the wrong that you did to him. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Now, if it wasn't clear enough, she really did care about Wolverine, man. Yeah, so as she got captured and dude was trying to figure out if they wanted to kill her or make her witness the murder of Wolverine, Wolverine pulls up, man. And we see how much a coward the husband, the other woman was forced to marry, how much of a coward he is. He pulled out the gun. He was ready to leave the whole situation anyway. But he pulled out the gun and put it on the wife, and he was like, yo, Wolverine, come any closer and I'll kill the woman you love. I don't give a fuck about her. I don't care about none of this shit. And essentially, this also shows again how much Yujiro actually cared for Wolverine. Is she threw her daggers at the husband, and she made sure she only grazed the other woman's dress. She didn't kill her. You know, so Wolverine saves Yukio, and then she just flees for her life. She's like, look, you know, it's nothing I can do to atone for how I hurt you, and your heart is still with the other woman. I gotta go. So she ends up leaving. Wolverine gets to challenge other dudes to single combat, and it's a good back and forth battle, and we get a lot of these crazy, like, couple of shots. It's very Beatrix versus Oren, you know, these crazy couple of shots going back and forth, man. And Wolverine kills him, and that last shot, bro, where we see him, it looks like he's punching him, and you see his fist go, like, he grabs dude's sword, and then kind of like leans to the side and throws a punch at him, and you see dude's face when you realize what's happening, and then you just see snit, and that's when you know he let the claws go and killed him. And the Makiro, you know, the daughter, the woman that Wolverine loved, she was like, yo, if you didn't kill him, I was gonna kill him myself. And then she would have killed herself. So that's what she was sitting at. And she was gonna kill her father, and then from the dishonor of what she did, even though she did the right thing, she was gonna kill herself, you know, by dishonoring. You know, just as a way, I don't remember. It was a term for it, and they put it in there. I'll put the text up here if I can. But I guess that was her way of atonement, you know. So yeah, so Wolverine, she was like, Wolverine, you've done me a service, because now I get to live on, you know, and not have to deal with this burden, you know, of one, watching her father do that, and two, having to deal with the consequences of stopping it herself. So she offers him the blade, the sacred blade of their family that, like, represents everything that they stand for and strive to be. And Wolverine, he's like, I'm unworthy. Like, what? Like, I'm unworthy of this. You've given this to me. And she basically says to him, she's like, yo, you did what you believe was right, no matter what you would have lost, whether it was his own life or emotionally of, you know, losing the woman he loved. You know, because she's told him multiple times to back off, leave it alone, and he still came back and did the right thing. So she was like, yeah, selflessness, you know, you did this in the name of honor, because you felt it's what you needed to do and what needed to be done, and that makes you more worthy of this than anything. So yeah, it cuts from that back to the X Mansion, where they get a postcard, and it's showing that Wolverine and the other lady are getting married, man. And yeah, that's a lot in 4 issues, man. That's a great damn story, bro. It was a great story. So yeah, man, yeah, that's my first comic, bro, of going straight from front to back, and I'm damn happy this was it. I'm really damn happy this was my comic. I went and researched. It was like, what's the follow-up to this? It's X-Men. It's Uncanny X-Men number 160 or 170 something of that long-ass list of comics. It's supposed to be a direct sequel from that. So what I might do, because I ain't gonna lie, bro. Since this is fresh on my mind, I'm not about to read from wherever the fuck I am in the Phoenix Saga all the way up to there. I'm not about to, because one, I don't want to disrespect the series like that by speeding through it. And two, it's just going to take a long ass time whether I speed through it or not. So what I might do, I'm going to save where I am in the Phoenix Saga so I don't lose track of that. But I might jump cut all the way up there and read that story too, is the follow-up, because I am interested in what's going on there and where it goes from there. Because obviously she dies, but like I wonder how did she die? Did Sabretooth kill him? Because I do think, wasn't Wolverine mind controlled into killing a woman he loved? So I'm like, did Sabretooth kill him? Does Wolverine end up killing her? Does someone else kill her or something? You know, I just wonder what happens, because I didn't expect this. It was going to come back to the X-Men. Because when I think of Wolverine in Japan, I thought we was going to have Wolverine like the 1800s in Japan or some shit, right? But nah, that wasn't necessarily the case. But you know, and I'm not disappointed by that, because they cleared it up in the beginning of, oh, he's going back to Japan for a woman he loved and was with a long time ago. So that already tells us, oh, okay, this isn't a backstory thing, you know. So I assume, even though Coy said he wanted the Frank Miller run, which of course you can take liberties from it, and you know, and it can be before his time in the X-Men, so it doesn't have to be the thing of him inviting them to the wedding or whatever. But I was under the impression it was going to be something prior to him being on the X-Men. My fault. I got Avengers on, bro. Loki versus Thor is this my shit. It's my favorite movie ever, man. But yeah, but you know that didn't disappoint me or take away from it at all or make me upset. The story was still great. The artwork, man. I talked to my homie, shout out Parabellum, bro. I talked to him about this. I was like, yo, it's certain things that make you nostalgic even if you didn't grow up with it. So the best example is my Street Fighter growing up is Street Fighter 4. But whenever I think of Street Fighter, like stereotypically, as far as sound effects and how it looks and shit like that, I didn't know what I was thinking of was a mix of Street Fighter 2 and Third Strike. So when I saw Maximilian Dood playing Third Strike and shit like that, I was like, oh, this is where that version of the Hadouken and the Shoryuken and the Yoga Flame and shit, like those sound effects that I just hear through pop culture and shit like that, that's where this comes from. My preconceived notion of fighting games, how they should look and sound, that this is the blueprint of that. As I'm reading this, I'm like, yeah, when I think of classic comic books and Wolverine, from an art style and just how he was acting, like I said, the animalistic shit and everything and how he talks, this is Wolverine. When I think of Wolverine, that's motherfucking Wolverine, boy. That's it right there. Because even as I'm reading the X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, it's kind of like I said, he's still a fresh character at this point. I don't know when he was first published, but you know, this is still him being new to the team. Because even there's a thing where they're in the Imkron Crystal and they're in this illusion of them fighting the old X-Men. So they're fighting Beast, Angel, Iceman, right? And I think some other members, right? So those people are fighting against Cyclops, who he was the original member, but he's still on the team now. They're fighting against Cyclops, Colossus, Wolverine, Banshee, I think Storm. I know Storm's part of the team, but I don't know if she was in that panel. I think she was. So they're fighting against them, right? The new X-Men. So they're still called the new X-Men, essentially. So at this point, Wolverine, the Frank Miller comic I just read and I did an overview of is 82. What I'm reading from the Phoenix Saga is 70s, right? Like mid to late 70s. So that's still a big gap, So he's still like, just kind of brutish, not a joke character in the sense, just the main thing is his main thing is his temper. He's Raphael. He's Raphael in the 2012 Ninja Turtles. Like that's really what he is. He just loses his temper, goes around slashing his shit, calling people bub. He, just being a dickhead to everybody. That's just kind of how he is. At least in this set of stories. In that set of stories. So as I'm reading this 82 story, I'm like, this is more of what I think of when I think of Wolverine. So man, it made me nostalgic, and then just from the art, bro. Let's get into the artwork. I'm gonna put this shit on the screen, bro. Look at this shit, man. This shit is beautiful. It is beautiful, bro. Like the colors, the shading, the darkness they put him in, and it's the classic suit, man. Yo, what that tan, the tan suit, bro. It's so good, man. It's so freaking good. Everything, and even everything around him is just so dope, bro. The way he's fighting, the way he's moving, and he's so agile. And this is something, bro. Wolverine is the underrated fighter, man. It's crazy. It's a lot of characters we can say this for, where it's like some things about them become now underrated as time goes on. Like, underused, like the animalistic thing of him being this hunter and tracker, that's underused, but not necessarily underrated. It's just underused in like a lot of mainstream media and things. But what's underrated, bro, is his agility. Like Wolverine is so freaking agile and nimble. That's why when niggas talk to me about some Wolverine versus Batman is losing. Batman is losing, bro, because like we don't realize how many fighting styles like Wolverine has, like his time and training in Japan. Like he has samurai training, in certain iterations, and as well as military training, and then training with the X-Men to fight different beings and shit. Man, like come on, bro. But he's so fucking nimble and agile, mixed with his adamantium skeleton, dude. It's like it's just like a, it's like a fucking this little Tasmanian devil that's made out of fucking adamantium, bro. Like he's like just like a, I don't know, bro. I don't even know. He's like the damn Mark II in GTA, you know, in human form. You know what I'm saying? So it's like seeing him move as agile as he is here and like dodging the sword strikes, you know, and him using different technique. Because usually Wolverine, when you think of him fighting, he's just eating shit. He's just eating motherfucking bullets and shit. Like even if I didn't put it on the screen already, fuck it, I'll put it back up here. If I already did, where he's like, they're, you know, amazing fighters or some shit, or warriors, but I'm better, man. Boy, and he unscathed in some of these. In some of these joints, the hand didn't touch him. And some of them, it's like, you know, arrows and shit sticking out of him. But I believe there's a couple of these where the hand surrounded him and that boy didn't get touched. You feel me, bro? So yeah, that too, man. That too was something else. But yeah, the art, bro. The artwork's gorgeous, man. It's gorgeous. Like, it mixes the beauty of the Uncanny X-Men, where it's so vibrant and so many colors. But in this, it's just like the shadows and the different things, like the setting that it takes on is just so fucking great. It's great, man. I'm probably going to reread this a couple times. I'm not a heavy rewatch and reread guy. Like, the few movies I really rewatch are Kill Bill, and Pulp Fiction. Those are the main movies I rewatch, you know, apart from like feel good movies, I guess, so like a Wedding Crashers or something like that. But so it's kind of the same thing with reading. Like, I love Animal Farm, but I have not read Animal Farm since 9th grade, right, when I had to. But a lot of the shit stuck with me, and I retained information relatively well. You know what I'm saying? So, but this right here, I think is so short and concise, and it's just so damn good that I might have to reread this joint a couple times, man. You know, so yeah, this is fresh off the press, man. I finished reading this joint last night. Yeah, I finished reading it last night. So yeah, man. Yeah, it's no need for me to ramble on, man, and make this shit a 50-minute video. But yeah, bro, that's just, I wanted to share this experience with y'all, man. This is my first time reading a comic book front to back. I'm about to finish my second one. Like I said, I'm an issue and a half of finishing this Taskmaster joint. And yeah, I'm a little bit over halfway done with the Immortal Iron Fist. I'm definitely going to give a review of that when I'm done, because that shit is fire so far. That shit is amazing. That shit is great. That shit is fucking great, bro. And that's definitely a story that should be and can be adapted in the MCU. You know what I'm saying? So, but not in one movie. You can't get that shit done in one movie. You know, I might, fuck it, when I review that, I might go over the structure of how to do it. But yeah, man, you're probably gonna see me in this outfit in a couple more videos. I got some storage space, damn it, so I can probably fit a couple of videos together. So yeah, man, yeah, shit ain't shit else to talk about, man. Hope y'all enjoyed this joint. I'll definitely talk about and review some more comics as I go along and finally get to live out what I wanted to do in my childhood, man. So, yep, catch y'all on the next joint, man.